Speaking of the learning and being open-minded, what are some of the cool things that you sort of picked up from being in physio now? Like maybe that you look differently at than before. Maybe you maybe discounted it before, and now you're paying a little bit more attention to it, or even something that you just find interesting. Tell us a little bit about that.
Um, there's there's a lot.
I know.
It's a I'm in a 2 years master's course and it's condensed. So we basically go all year. I start August and finish August, and
Hmm.
with like maybe uh, 6 weeks off throughout the whole entire year. So
Hmm.
it's a lot of information, but I feel like one of the biggest things that has changed my perspective is the fact, again, we everyone knows everything's connected within the human body. Everyone knows how certain things affect, sleep will affect your mood, it will affect your energy levels and stuff like that. But the ability to really kind of go in depth and see how, like how, well, I just finished a neurodynamic unit, and how, certain people might experience muscle pain, and how muscle pain might not actually be muscle pain, how it might actually be nerve pain. And that nerve pain can be caused by a multitude of things, whether it be, an entrapment or neuropathy, a muscle acting on that nerve, which then acts on the muscle, or
Hmm.
just something completely different within the central nervous system, and how something can be affected there, and how it affects the nerves. And I always kind of like that idea where it's, you can't treat what you think it is. You need to treat what you see. And if you can
Hmm.
treat what you see, then you're setting yourself up for success, because you're not putting labels on anything. And
Hmm.
I love that takeaway from that module I did, because it can be applied to anything in life. It doesn't mean that, you can't just use it in a neurological sense. You can use that in your everyday life. If
Hmm.
you have a problem that's coming towards you, don't put a label on that problem. Don't, start overthinking whatever. See it for what it is, right?
Hmm.
And then target it and treat it for what it is. If you can do that, you will set yourself up for success, whatever it is.
Hmm. Instead of
So,
creating those limitations in your mind and labels, and that's what the labels really do, sort of create these this little box of limitation around whatever it might be.
of course, yeah.
Now, I really started to nerd out on breathing over the last year and a half, and it was on truthfully it's something I didn't pay any attention to at all. Like I remember, like yeah, some diaphragmatic breathing will help with calming the nervous system. I did a little bit of that before, but it became a little bit more of a deep dive over the last little while. Have you guys talked a lot about that and how it affects, let's say, pain and function and that kind of stuff?
In a sense, yeah. One of the modules I did was cardiorespiratory, and that was a very tricky module. It's something we don't particularly partake in Canada. We don't
Hmm.
have physiotherapy for the cardiorespiratory system. We have
Hmm.
respiratory therapists,
Yes.
and it's a shame because I love that module and I excelled in it. And being someone who is asthmatic, who's been asthmatic since I was born,
Hmm.
it just kind of clicked with me. And seeing how fast you can make a difference in someone's life from something as simple as getting them to cough, getting them to breathe, getting them to change their posture
Hmm.
and correct themselves so they can get deeper breaths in, or just get more efficient oxygen transfer throughout their body, is
Hmm.
it's something that you don't think of. And learning it in a module and doing it in class is one thing, but my first placement I ever did was at a hospital. I can't say what the name of the hospital, but I was on the COVID ward. So I
Hmm.
did general ICU surgery, um, and I did on the COVID ward. So this was at the height of COVID, that I was working with patients that had COVID, and it was crazy to see the difference you can make from just having someone sit up instead of being slumped over, seeing their mood change, seeing
Hmm.
how their brain functions would change, how much clearer they could think. And again, that's on one end of the spectrum. But even
Hmm.
having people, when I was doing ward checks, seeing people who were outside of COVID all in general, just people, just regular people that had ankle sprain or whatever,
Hmm.
just getting them to calm themselves, take deep breaths, to have them change their posture, like I was saying before, so they can get better oxygen transfer. It's sometimes the simplest solution has the biggest impact.